Welcome back to The Grind for part 2 of my revive farming mini-series, I guess I should say. This video is going to break down active versus passive revive farming and how you can gain near or actual infinite amount of revives if you have the time. This was the breakdown of the passive revive farming maps that I discussed in my other video, which I'll put a link so that you can see in full detail. But the classic variant 7 2.2 gave about a revive for every 65 to 70 energy you spent. And then the 4.1.6 also gives energy. So if you're looking at energy and revives, it's actually better for your energy. But what I didn't consider was if I reinvested that energy spent, could I get, obviously I would get more revives, and that would actually make it more like 60 energy per revive if you're using and reinvesting the energy refills, because that's considered free energy. So if you look at it that way and want to reinvest the energy, you're actually going to end up better off farming revives with 4.1.6, and that's a bit of an extra tidbit from my previous video, but check out that video in full detail. So our goal is going to be 60 energy per refill or less. Now let's go into this map. 5.3.6 is one of the better or the best active revive farming, and I call it active revive farming because the fights are not able to be auto fight, and there are lots of fights, and so if you're not paying attention very closely, then you're going to lose a lot of health in your champions, and so you do have to focus for this. But you can see this time through, we don't have anything other than that one energy refill there, so we're going to spend just over a full bar of energy to clear the map, but pick up that full energy refill along the way and basically make it a free run. Now we have another one there, but also on the other side there, and then we look through the rest and there's a revive down on the bottom there, and that path with the revive on it is slightly cheaper energy. And so what you could do is you could go and pick up those full energy refills, but they are so far down the path that it costs basically a couple energy shy of a full bar of energy to reach that energy refill. So if you're reinvesting, as we'll see later on, it might not be worth picking those up because it's a lot of time invested to get it, and you're ending up zeroed out if you're going to use that energy refill to refill your bar of power or bar of energy. But if you are using free energy to do this and you're not going to spend those energy revives, then you can go pick it up and then restart the map. But because we'll see you can find them closer in other situations, you might just want to skip that full refill and go down to that that revive and refresh the map at the same time to be cheaper on energy. Now this time there's no revive and no energy on that side, but we have 2 energy on this path, and we'll see that actually happens quite frequently for many players, especially after you repeat the map multiple times. So going down that path is going to cost you a full bar of energy, but you're going to pick up 2 energy refills, and even if you spend one of them to refill your bar to continue farming, you'll still have come out of that with a full energy refill in addition to that. Now one of my alliance mates uses this map a lot and gets a ton of energy out of it, as well as revives along the way, and these are a few pictures of a few of his back-to-back runs. So that other one had 2 on the same path. This one has one very close actually on the right side there, and then you could complete the map on the left to refresh it. This one again, 2 on the same map, and if you have an energy on the top right there that's close, it's very efficient actually to grab that and then quit the fight or the map and then restart on another path if you need to refresh it on another path for another item. So multiple times we saw 2 energy on the same path, which is very energy efficient, and then here 2 revives on the same path. And like I said, this path is shorter, so a bit cheaper on energy. If you want to refresh the map, this is the fastest one to do it. So I would recommend, if you have an energy on a map closer that you can quit out at like 30 energy, then you can refresh it on this map and pick up the extra revive, or 2 if it's even here. Now if there is only 1 revive in that top left corner, it might be cheaper to stop after that first revive and then refresh it on another path that has a full energy refill or 2. Now another one of my alliance mates did this breakdown for me after 10 runs, and I used this information to estimate the costs and kind of what you gain from doing this and how efficient it really is. Now this isn't a perfect estimate because it takes into consideration getting every single item, and as we discussed, those energies that are standalone at the very end of those paths might not be the most efficient because you're spending more than a full bar of energy to to reset the whole path if you go to that energy. But also, if you go just to the energy and quit out and pick up something different, it's still costing you a full bar of energy, which is not necessarily energy efficient if you're doing active revive farming and reinvesting that energy to continue farming. But you can see there's multiple times where he gets a revive only 20 moves in, 2 energy refills with only 22 moves. Sorry, not energy. So that's 66 energy to get 2 full refills. Then you can quit the fight and then go and pick up that revive and reset the path on that revive path. And then another one, the next one down, he's got 2 revives on the same path and 1 full energy refill 24 moves in. Now, I wouldn't call that energy efficient, but because of all the data he gave me, I decided to calculate getting everything. We'll see how close it comes to zeroing out. And I think that if you become a little bit more picky with what you get, you can get more energy efficient and essentially become an infinite revive farming map. Now for run 7, there were 2 energy refills on 2 separate paths. One was 8 moves in and one was 22 moves in. So if you go the 8 moves in one and quit the quest and reset, you can pick up the one on the other path and reset the path at the same time. So those are some strategies and tips to make it more efficient. Now, a reminder, 4.1.6, if you reinvest your energy refills that you get, you can essentially work it down to 60 energy per revive. But if you do the same for Act 5.3.6, we're going to see how close to 0 we get. Now, the paths cost anywhere from 78 to 87 energy for the full path to clear. So it's over a full bar of energy. The total energy spent in the scenario of 10 runs that I estimated from my alliance mate was 1,018 energy. And in that time, we were able to gain 8 revives and 12 full energy refills. So what this breaks down to is about 60 energy per item if you're adding up the revives and energy refills, about 84 energy per energy refill, which is fairly efficient when you compare it to the other sources of revive farming if you are looking for a bunch of energy simply to clear content or do a legends run, or just you want to explore in a short period of time the new story quests. And then if you look at just the revives, it's 127 energy per revive, which is not that efficient compared to the other revive quests that I talked about where you can simply auto fight. So if you're just auto fighting and then you're putting so much effort into this for revives at 127 energy per revive, that sounds horrible. But if you reinvest all the energy that you get into this and you just have a full day or two or a full weekend that you really want to grind into it, what you can do if you're reinvesting that energy is get it down to about 22 energy per revive, which is much more efficient than the passive revive farming from my other video. And once again, that considers getting every single item on the paths from the scenarios that my teammate shared with me. And as I said, I don't feel like it is always energy efficient to grab those energy refills that are standalone at the very end of those paths. And so I would actually skip those if there was a revive on the short path. I would just, or another refill on a different path. I wouldn't necessarily get every single energy refill if they are standing alone at the far end of that path. So like I said, this is a small sample size and I had to estimate numbers, and it gets very close to actually ending up at 0 energy per revive, meaning that you can constantly continue to farm because of the energy refills. If you keep refilling, you can keep on farming and you're going to pick up more refills as well as you're going to pick up revives along the way. And this can pretty much be endless as long as you have the time to invest. But from my experience, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes, more closer to 10 usually, 10 minutes to clear the whole path. And so it does take a significant amount of time to do this. But if you have the time and you are an intense grinder, you can pretty much be doing this constantly, depending on how much time you have. And when you need to take a break, your energy will refill and then you'll have a bit of a buffer to continue farming more items. And one of my alliance mates, like I said, uses this map a lot and he comes out way positive and is able to reinvest some of those refills if he has them in order to do this. But if you are simply not spending refills and just farming through, you can still pick up a ton of energy refills. And then let's say you have a bunch of extra and you don't have as much time to actively farm revives, you can then reinvest those energy refills to do passive revive farming and continue to get tons and tons of revives throughout the month if you're preparing for a big run, or you just need to replenish your stash over the weekend or throughout a week for the next big content. So if you have the time to farm actively, Act 5.3.6 is a fantastic map to do it on, and you can get some insane results. If you don't have time and you want to do a passive farming, then variant 2.2 is very effective, but you don't get energy refills there. And if you go to 4.1.6, you will get energy refills and you can reinvest those. Or if you also want to stash up your energy refills, 4.1.6 is a fantastic place to go. And once again, if you do a mix of both, you can gain extra energy refills from 5.3.6. And then when you don't have time anymore to continue active farming, you can pop a refill and invest it back into 4.1.6 if you are in desperate need of increasing your revive stash. So I really do hope this video breakdown was helpful. Good luck, and I hope to see you in the next video.